What's up?
Hey, man, how are you?
That means he's ready. That means he's ready.
Means I'm cold, man. I know it's cold up here, man. Cold. Jeez.
What?
It's
It's like 37 degrees down this way.
What, you sitting outside or something?
I feel like I'm outside. I just came in the house. Well, you know, my timing means I just came in the house about 2 minutes ago. But but other way, welcome.
Yes, it is. Welcome.
And to
another Monday.
Yeah, and look, to our eight early viewers, welcome, especially to you.
Yes, we appreciate you.
That's right. On time, folks.
That's right. That's right. You know, they're not on CP time.
Nah.
So we are so grateful. We are so grateful to have you at the time, gentlemen.
Yes.
Tell me, on this blessed weekend, how did it go for you guys?
Wired. I'm not. No, it's been a wonderful weekend. Family, everybody's doing fine. We appreciate God for that because He's in our lives. One day we'll let you know why we keep saying it like, but we love Jesus. We do.
We love him.
Hallelujah.
Right.
Glory to God.
Yes, we do.
That's right.
So that's all me. The family's doing great. Everyone's doing great. Of course, continuing prayers for Eric and his family, Eric and Simone and the family. So
yes,
good.
Of course, I started off the weekend doing some yard work. Yes, it's that time of the year already.
No, wait. Wait. He's telling you the beginning. Ask him about his back.
Anyway,
how you feeling?
I did something to my back in the process of doing some stuff, and so I was a little excruciating pain, which was quite hard to sit down. But other than that, look at God is a healer. He is a deliverer.
So, hey, Rupert, if you watched him at church, he wasn't standing up because of the preacher. He was standing up because his back was hurting.
But anyway, so to close out the month of February of Valentine's month, took my wife out to a restaurant again on Saturday night just to conclude, you know, the good old love month and all that good fun stuff. And then Sunday was a dynamic message from Pastor Darnell Edie.
Oh, all right.
And of course, Simon spoke about what he talked about during our men's Bible discussion yesterday. So it was an excellent weekend.
Yes, it was.
Cold wind. And then Mother Nature had a way of knocking a tree down in our church parking lot. Other than that, beautiful weekend.
Hey, Rupert, did you see the new stadium that Washington are trying to build?
No.
It's going to be awesome.
It's supposed to be like wooden. Probably another term for it. I mean, it's a dynamic looking stadium if they was to go ahead with it. But
will it marvel the Cowboys Stadium?
Oh, way Marvel. It's supposed to be in the world the biggest, better than any stadium in the world.
Oh yeah.
If you look it up afterwards, you can see. Yeah, you will. Yeah. So
I will.
He all happy like he's gonna be able to go.
Hey, soon come. But on the other hand, we're not talking about our other team who was just terrible. But again, they've tanked. Looking forward to next year, so we'll see what happens.
Studio audience.
And you.
Yeah, studio audience. If you knew about soccer or these two young men here, their team
to rest.
Yeah, they put them to rest. They're not going to talk to them, just like one don't want to talk about the Cowboys. But
there might be some shade out there. Ooh.
I don't care. Let's go.
I know.
So how about you, sir? How was New Jersey? Oh, speaking of,
well,
I read in the paper real quick about there's a measles outbreak in Texas and also in Jersey.
In Jersey?
Is that happening up your way?
I don't know. I can't get the measles anymore.
I think he went up to 11 outbreaks.
11, as they call it, an outbreak. 11 people.
No, and in Texas it was like around 40 or some more people. Like it was a high number in Texas.
Out of 20 million, 40 people get the measles, and it's an outbreak. Come on, man.
Trust me, the measles ain't no joke.
No, it's not. But it's the measles. People get the measles all the time. Well, not all the time, but they get the measles. But anyway, my weekend was great. I got a tree in my backyard down also. There's a tree in my backyard down. it was exciting. I did not know about it. My wife pointed it out to me. She's like, there's the tree down. I'm like, oh boy. So that's our second tree in 5 years has fallen down in our backyard.
Wow.
This weekend, I also took my wife out to dinner. We went to this new spot, man. It was awesome. Okay. I give a big shout out to Lucas in Bordentown. Man, the food was good. I had venison for the second time. But it was good. Man, the atmosphere, it was awesome. So
was it just the two of you?
Just me and her.
Yeah.
So all right.
Yeah.
Congrats.
You're welcome. Yeah. Actually, a tree fell down at our church too.
That's what I heard in your parking lot.
Yeah. So
who had to move it?
No, what the grace of God is, it fell away from the parking lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember, if you drive down, when you're driving down and then you branch off to the left, well, that tree was right there on the right-hand side.
Oh, the one right beside the little driveway up into the parking lot.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, Shady Rest.
Yes.
Shady Rest is gone.
so whoever parks under there in the summer,
not gonna be there.
Not gonna be there no more.
That was the shade. That was the shade I used for when we had the family fun day.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Well, that's nothing to do with the show. People.
Let me carry on then. Yes, of course, we got people on there already.
Yes.
And we thank everybody. The beginning of March. Please continue to press the like, press the share, and subscribe with us. Just jump out your house right now. Ring the doorbell. See on camera. Press subscribe on the Warriors United. Please do that. Share with your neighbors, your neighborhood, whatever. We love you all the time. And all the time, we love you.
Wow.
That was a Bible thing, right?
You got deep. You got deep.
So what we talking about?
So what we talking about tonight, sir?
Well, this is what we're talking about tonight. Wow. Should Christians talk about sex in church or outside of church or whatever? Should Christians have conversations about and dialogue about sex? This is going to be a deep conversation. We need you all to help us with your thoughts and comments. Do not be afraid. But let's start off, gentlemen, with this question. Has your leadership or has your pastor or pastors or elders or ministers have preached about or talked about sex from the pulpit?
I would say when I was at my previous church, I remember them talking about to abstain. They used the word abstain. They didn't use the word sex. So I remember that from the previous church I was in. So yes, I would say it did come across the pulpit. Abstain
from chocolate?
No, abstain from non-marital activities.
I can go back and also it says the word sex wasn't technically used, but you got sat down because if you were riding in the van going to church and half was male and female, they want to know what happened. We were going to church. Look, that's for real.
But that's a good point you just made there.
That was for real. And we were teenagers. When I say teenagers, we were like 18, 19, 20. And we were going to church. It wasn't even on our mind to mingle on the bus like so. So, and of course, boyfriend and girlfriend back then, you couldn't really say it or actually walk into church and say, she my girlfriend or he my boyfriend.
You had girlfriend or boyfriends when you were boy?
Like I said, we didn't say it. We didn't say it.
I didn't even think about it.
At one time, of course you didn't. Well, come on, man. Teenager, 6, 7, 8. Well, then
I remember having this conversation in high school about prom and telling people I can't go to the prom. Like, why? I just can't go to the prom. I mean, it was just some tough conversation when it came to that whole aspect of life. And I guess the thing about it was, like, my dad, who was my bishop and my pastor, I don't remember if he ever had a message speaking about sex per se, or not doing it. He might have thrown in, lust of the flesh. He might have thrown in, don't fornicate. He might have thrown in something here and there, but to have a full message about that, I do not think he did. And, guys, my question then is, did that hurt or make it harder for young people to really understand why? Or is it something that maybe needs to be talked about so that they have a better understanding?
Well, again, back to my previous church, they used to have a thing called purity class, where it was for the young women. They teach them to conduct themselves in a way that would be acceptable. Keeping themselves pure, keeping themselves, keep themselves in a way that when you meet that special someone, you will be that special someone.
You want me to call your wife until they come down and explain that?
Right.
Yeah, that's better. But I understand.
Only for the women.
They just had one for the women. They didn't have one for the men. I'm just saying they had one for the women.
That's what I'm saying. But why did they only have one for the women?
That I don't know. I don't know.
But remember, to your question, you said good. See, so back then, and I'm not saying that young people didn't have sex or whatever, or however they mingle, but in the church, it was, of course, it may have happened now and again because later on, but then it wasn't. That's because we were taught no sex until you got married.
Right. And that's what Hebrews talks about.
No sex until you got married.
Right.
And a lot of, I'm assuming now, it's not a fact, people. It's not a fact. I'm assuming that people abided to that. And no sex. And if they did, they kept it quiet because it's in-house. But that was then. Because if you look at it now, that's not happening.
Well, let's not jump into it now. Let's not jump into that quickly. That's all.
I'll go back then. So yes. So even then, even myself, I always laugh about this. Because I remember when I first came over to here, and I was at mom and dad's house, and Rachel used to act. Rachel used to act a fool, and here's me going, man, your mom and dad drowned there, man. Stop, get on. Look, even for her to put her arm around me or something like that, I'm like, no, wait a minute. Your mom and dad are at it. They all crying. I'm just putting my arm around you. And then if one of them was to, like, they go, Rachel, what's happening? I'm like, hey. But it was in my brain because I didn't want to disrespect. Right. Even though she wasn't doing a bad thing. It was just your arm around, and we were just watching a movie. But just the thought is like, I don't want to think like it's a start of something or whatever. But that was then.
Well, back to his point, because the Hebrew talks about that, sex in marriage, you should be able to talk about it freely within the church, but they don't. And that's something I think the church is hurting those that are coming up, because some may be struggling in that area and don't know how to do certain things because they don't talk about it. Now, the world will tell you all kinds of ways of doing certain things. I mean, even myself, I learned it in school. I didn't learn it from my parents.
You learned what in school?
About sex and sex education and all that in school.
I thought you meant
something else. No, even the church, when I grew up, they didn't say anything about that. It was more or less you learned it in school or you learned it on the street.
I'm with that too. I mean, my parents didn't talk about it.
Right.
And we did have sex education in school.
Right.
But it was just basic sex education.
Right.
Meaning that you're supposed to have sex when you get married. So it's like biblically, but at the time, I guess they weren't even thinking biblically then. But it was, and we'd be all like giggling and laughing, and you'd be looking over at a girl, and the girl be looking at you or something like that, and you'd be going, ew. No, because I remember all I was interested in was playing soccer.
Right.
And girls, I don't know if they ever did that. Girls used to play. We had a game called Kiss and Chase. So they were amongst themselves. They would go, we're going to get so and so. So you'd be see a guy running and 3 girls chasing him.
I remember that
because he was a game. Kiss and Chase. He's like, ew.
Yes, to my wife. I played that game when I was little. It was called Kiss and Chase. I think all little kids played that little game. So yes, I remember that.
But we was determined not to be caught, though.
Right, that's it.
We were really determined.
Hey, I want to get some of these comments because they're really good. So let's get to some of them. We're a little bit earlier than normal, but let's get to some of them.
Let's get them in there.
So
Dexter's just saying hi to the family. Yep, and we should talk about it. Okay.
Yeah. Because the Bible says this. I like the part where the Bible says that sex is a gift from God, and the church should reflect that, right? Now, that's a good thought, right? It is a gift, right? And I think that's what the world has been removed from. But we're not going to talk about. We're just going to talk about is it been talked about in church? Let's go to the next.
Yeah,
right.
Thank you, Maisie, for watching.
Yeah, I know my sister's watching. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Go ahead. You want to read Esther's?
If the church doesn't talk about the natural design of the human body, the world will certainly fill in the blanks.
And to her point, is correct. That's what I said.
True.
I learned it from the streets. So,
and because you can even broaden that, and if it wasn't sex, with anything that we do or say or whatever, the world will fill in whatever we're missing.
Absolutely.
Oh, we think that we're missing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Amen.
Yes.
Perry Gore.
What?
Hello, sir.
You are Perry Gore. Excuse me. Such conversations are and should be talked about in workshops or even Bible study. Then questions can be asked, and it can be dove into deeply.
Did we ever talk about it on men's retreat?
In men's retreat, we would talk about it.
You did?
And we had a conversation. We would have, of course, what was said on retreat stays on retreat. So I can't really get into it. But remember, we would have our pit fire outside. That's when we had the opportunity to really sit and talk and discuss whatever it is we're able to discuss with some people who maybe have gone down that road, know some things. So yes. On men's retreat, we did. I think he might have missed that retreat.
Yeah, it wasn't a confession thing. It was a discussion thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the great places to have that discussion is at a gathering of men or a gathering of women to talk about it. But I think that more would be a conversation on, okay, married men talking about their issues, right? Married men talking about their issues. Can young people?
That was my point. Yeah, you got me. Yeah.
Together and have that conversation. Though people who aren't married, the single, late teens, young adults.
But to your point, at our last retreat that we had at Camp Agape, when we were outside, there were some single men there, so we're able to talk freely while they were in that setting, so they would know what we're talking about. We didn't exclude them from the conversation. So yes.
How old were they though? Were they young? Or were they older?
Older guys. I would say probably over 20. Definitely over 20.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about, though. I know what you're talking about, Rup. It'd be nice if they were young people.
Okay.
Younger or whatever. So you got the good, you got the old, the old, and old.
Because I'm sure they have questions. Like,
oh, yes.
Right? Like, okay, so let's delve into a little bit, Simon, because you kind of brought it up, right? The generation today is different thinking.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right? So I'm sure they have questions, right? Don't you think they have questions?
Well, as you as a pastor, do you get questions from the younger people?
Some of them are scared, bro. Because we don't talk about it in church. A lot of these young kids still were kids in church, little kids in church. Their parents don't talk about it. So when you do say something, all they think you're saying is, don't fornicate. Okay, that's it. And you walk away. There's so much more of a spectrum that when I do have these conversations, like some of these folks I now marry, I'm officiating their marriage, they're shocked. They're like, Pastor, I didn't know. What do you mean? I'm married with kids. Of course. These things come up. Right. And it's funny that I wish that they would have the opportunity to come to my office and in privacy ask me questions because my office is open. But I think that I'm going to have to now go forth and have conversations because the generation has changed. I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday, right?
Yeah, but even if they did ask you, even if they did ask you, I think that the younger boys should be more comfortable to ask you, and there should be like females who should also be approached for the young girls to ask them or be approachable.
Absolutely.
For young girls to, because that's not good for the other way. Switch around. That will cause problems.
Yeah.
Yes.
But coming to my wife or coming to one of the female ministry, right?
Yes.
Go to them. But the questions need to be asked.
Mm-hmm. Especially, okay. Ken says, a guest on your show shared some wise advice she received from the church elder. Protect your heart, your mind, and body. And she said, this is an invaluable counsel for young men and women striving to live.
And then, virtuous life. So,
okay.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. We use that scripture.
Yes.
Then what? Right? That's what we're talking about here. From the pulpit, a preacher will say, protect your heart, protect your mind, protect your body. It is a vessel of God, and you need to keep it sound and safe and secure. Lock the key. Don't let anybody in until you get married. And then we walk away and we go and they go home and they're still wondering about that boy in school or at the corner store they met, and he's advancing on them. And that he's bringing them, oh no, just hang out with me. No, we're cool, we chill. Well, you're still protecting your heart when you're sitting on the couch beside him. But now what happens? What do you need to do to protect your heart? What is the way that don't sit on that couch with that boy because he has something on his mind? You don't know him like that. Those are conversations that we really don't have.
And you just jumped into Talia's next question. You just jumped into Talia. Yeah, her question. I feel it should be talked about because there's a lot of information out in the world, which we've talked about. And with all of the vices available to young people, i.e. internet, schoolmates, TV, young people need guidance. Yes. Because I forgot my thought. We'll carry on. Yeah.
No, but Talia's right? Because there's so much place they get information. They don't have to. Matter of fact, they are now streaming little shows. I have to watch what my daughter's watching because she gets these apps where the TikTok, they're showing dating things. 15, 16-year-olds dating. I'm like, what are you talking? When I was 15 and 16, I wasn't worried about dating. I mean, I liked girls, but I wasn't worried about dating. I was worried about soccer and football and basketball and track.
That was me. Yeah, that was me too.
That's not them.
But that's like what you said. I mean, you can get it on The Simpsons. Right. You can get it on Sesame Street now. I mean, all the different things that they have on children's shows. So, I mean, today, I guess it's way harder today. But where did we miss it during then from our time to this time?
Well, Ruber said it. They're scared to talk about it because, again, all they look at is the part of being, fornicators or things of that nature. Forgetting the whole aspect of, what God created was a beautiful thing. But people get it twisted. And so they're afraid to come to you with questions because they feel they're going to look at them in a certain way.
Because I remember, and probably Ruben and you just said, we have daughters. And if they was to date, we want to know who they were. Then in our investigations, whether they work or go to school or whatever, where their parents, where did they live, all that information that we wanted to find out before they dated or whatever. And my girl's probably watching. My thing was, if they don't meet us, you ain't dating. If they don't want to meet us, they're not up to no good. If they don't want to meet your parents,
yeah. If they don't want, and you know what, you're lucky and blessed because a lot of parents, they don't meet them until after they dated 3 or 4 times. right? They've done dating.
No, we found that one out too. Yeah.
No, I'm saying you might be blessed, but there are parents that don't have that. Right? They find out. They say, "Hey, Mr. Johnson, I've been dating your daughter for 3 weeks now." Really?
But at the same time, though, when Simon would be, if he was dating, the mother is like, "I want to meet her first." The mom want to meet the daughter. Yeah, the girlfriend.
If the girl called on the phone,
yes,
don't let my mother pick that phone up. That would be okay.
So Ken says the church should complement and reinforce the guidance parents provide at home regarding being cautious about temptation, sexual desires, and hormonal changes during adolescence. Well, the question is, are the parents teaching it at home?
But the dynamics are different, though. One parent.
But are the parents teaching it? So that's the question I have.
Yeah, but the dynamics are I just think the dynamics are way different.
No, it's and I agree with Ken. Not usually, but I do in this case.
Yeah,
that it sounds right.
It sounds right
because that's what should happen.
Right.
Yes.
But then again, if the parent isn't saved, the conversation is different from what the church is teaching.
Exactly.
Right. That could be an issue too. You have to worry about. Our good friend, he might be watching right now, Brother Rudolph. Right. He talks about it. When he was growing up, it was a different type of dynamic.
Absolutely.
Right. He was taught something differently. And so when he came to church and he found out, wait a minute, this is not the way I was taught. It's a difference. So but I agree with Ken. The parents should talk about it, and the parents and the church reinforce it and come and help the parents guide the child or the young person or the young adult. But again, times change, man. Parents might not be talking about it.
Well, go ahead, read that. And I got a question.
Okay. Should not right? I mean, shouldn't the parents be the first to bring up body functions with their children? Yeah. Should the parents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should. But the thing that I'm seeing now, and you see it too, TikTok, social media, where some of these parents dress their kids up to be so risque looking, little children that are 10 years old looking like they're 20. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, parading them, they think it's all cute to put them out there on social media like that. I'm like, no.
But that's you're talking about the cheerleading competition.
Not just that in general.
Like, because you got these young girls, 10 years old, maybe younger, 11. They got the hairstyle done, the lipstick, the makeup, and the way they took the dress like that. Now, that's sometimes, I don't know. That's a different message, especially if you don't talk to them while you're doing this.
The innocence is gone.
Yes, because you dressing up your daughter like she's 17 and 18 and she's only 12.
No.
Yeah, and I definitely think it should be the parents that bring it up. But parents are sometimes nervous about the conversation, right? When to have it. Is it too early? Is it too late? And it makes it tough, but we as parents have to kind of figure out, okay, it's time to step in. Especially as I think it was Esther said that, not Esther, it was Atalia said that there's too much information that they can get in their hands. We want them to have a phone so they can contact us, but that same phone that they use to call us or to text us or keep in contact is the same device that they get so much information from that we might have to really, where my parent might have waited till we were 15, 16 to have that birds and bees. We got to have it at 10 and 12.
You in my thought, because I'm thinking back then it used to be the birds and the bees.
Yeah,
now it's like eagles and killer bees. It's so much too much information.
Yeah.
So much information. Was it Esther?
Yep.
She says, the Bible addresses all aspects of living. Yes. Teach the word. I agree with the smaller, intimate group discussions. Yes.
And it does. Yes. The Bible does talk about all of this. But, but here's the issue. How do we come across, because there's a generation that knows it the way that we know it? Don't touch them. Don't even go. You don't go on no dates at nighttime. You did it. versus a generation that says, hold up, I'm not marrying nobody. I don't know how I'm going to be able to deal with them day and night. You got the generation. How do you have a group of people chat and discuss if one group might be a little bit more rough and and mean for no other lack of word to a generation that says, I don't want to hear it.
He's about to preach.
Well, no, I just found some. I thought this statement was quite interesting. Maintaining respect and sensitivity. Conversation about sex in church should always be handled with care, respect, and sensitivity, avoiding objective shame and discomfort. They should be focused on spiritual and relational aspects of sex rather than sensualizing or indulging in explicit discussion. But the key phrase was that maintaining respect and sensitivity.
Which I agree, especially with, because it's not all females, especially when you're raising your sons too.
Exactly.
How you teach them to respect females or a woman. If you're going on a date, how should you treat and how should you do this? I mean, simple things that don't happen now is what you teach your kids. How to treat a lady, how to talk to a lady, and of course, when you talk about, I forgot the word. But this generally what that is, how you treat a female and what not to with a female.
The do's and don'ts.
Yes. So it's not all on the female side. I'm just talking about the guy side too.
Yeah. We got a lot of questions. We
do. We should also warn young ladies. I'm reading today, folks, because last week I didn't have my glasses. Now I can see.
We're giving them free range.
Yeah,
tonight.
give me free range. Let me make up. We should also warn young ladies to stay away from minor celebrities in church, such as singers, musicians, and pastors' kids. Wait a minute.
Not just the young ladies, if you want to go down that road, Larry, in general, young people in general, because they all tend to emulate what you see on social media. They all tend to want to try to gravitate that, not just pastors' kids, but anyone who is in the limelight. Of course, you want to try to gravitate them. So we got to warn them on what they're seeing.
But wait a minute, he's saying celebrities in church. So are we talking? We're talking about a higher genre here. I mean, if you're talking about celebrities in church.
I think he means the celebrities like singers, musicians, and pastors. Because the ones that are well known in church.
So they got groupies too, then.
Well, musicians and singers, and
I'm just throwing out here.
They got a group. Now, again, I'm not going to talk about pastors' kids because I was one, and I think that they were misunderstood. I knew many that were not what people say that they were. I was one. My family was one. But you kind of have these groupies because you're the pastor's kid. A lot of the young men would hang out with me because I knew a lot of people. Because when I went out to convocation, I knew a lot of people. So a lot of folks would. I really had he was our organ player. He told people that I was his cousin. He told, I'm Pastor Johnson's. Not Pastor at the time. Hey, I'm Rupert Jr.'s cousin. You ain't my cousin. Because he thought it would get him He thought it would get him a little bit of play, I guess. And I'm like, don't do that, man. But that's what happened. So you do have that little bit of following. Musicians, they always have a following, and singers. If you're a good singer, you're going to have a following.
Yes.
Right. So I think that's what he means by celebrities. But
before you say your next sentence,
I think would be wrong.
Wow, 8:00 already, and we have a good audience today. We thanking you for these questions. They coming in. We love you all. Continue to press like, share, and subscribe with us because we're having a great time, and we can't have this great time unless y'all participate too.
Thank you.
And y'all doing a great job. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So where we going now?
We're Joseph.
Oh, I got to get back up to where I belong. Okay.
Bring back the boys club and the purity class.
See, I spoke about the purity class, but I forgot it was called the boys club back then.
But also too, that's like the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts. I don't in England. I know that they did talk about females what we should do and what we shouldn't do in Boy Scouts, even though we went out into the woods and we did what we did. But we did have a few words with that. Yeah. Our Boy Scouts were serious. We were like the army.
but yeah.
Huh?
Why he or she in his house on the couch? You have to be on the wrong track if you're on the couch. It all depends on who the person is, but yeah, you don't want to be on the couch. You don't want to be on the couch.
So are you talking about me, Ken? you talking?
Okay.
No, look, if you on the couch and mom and dad or whoever's there and you're watching TV, maybe you're sitting on each end of the couch. But we know, of course, we know humans are vulnerable. I mean, vulnerable. And if one touch could lead to, now I'm not saying disaster, but one touch could lead to somewhere where you really don't want to go yet.
It can lead to disaster for some. So, you got to resist that temptation.
That's the word.
Disaster for some.
The temptation.
That's it.
So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hormones are raging long before marriage. Sex ed needs to be taught from a biblical perspective to our youth.
I 100% agree, Esther, because that's what I was talking about, right? These kids are getting crazy at 13, 11, and 12, and 13. Mm-hmm. And sometimes these purity classes and boys club don't start till they're 15, 16, maybe 17, 18. Mm-hmm. So they're already fighting the struggle, whereas back in our day, it was a little bit older. But in today's world, it's a different thing.
That's right.
We humming here. The church used to have that impurity class in church. We did. I think Transformation had it. Yeah.
Purity class was there. And I mean, sometimes the mothers took it upon themselves.
Right.
To have an impromptu conversation sometimes with the young ladies. Now
that's a good one right there. Wait, that's a good one right there. Back then, the mothers would talk about to the young ladies about it.
Right. Now
they would probably say it as harsh as what they would say now and let them know straight up then. Mm-hmm. But mothers, they could talk to a whole female church. But today, who's coming to the class?
That's the question. But this is the thing. I remember back in the day, and we'll get to this. I remember back in the day that we had a mother in church where when the anointing was on and she started to walk the aisles, man, you don't want to stop by you. Don't stop by me.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember that too.
Oh Lord.
Woo. Brother, thanks, man, for the same. We already talked about that earlier. We do agree with your statement that it should be taught in the home, and the church should give us guidance and the biblical perspective. So we pretty much have covered that. But thank you for your comments, sir.
Oh, okay, Edward. And the question is, how do we make ourselves available to who young people? Wait a minute. Whoa. How do we make ourselves available to who young people who are curious about the changes in life and why they have certain feelings?
That's the question.
That's the question.
Answer it. No.
Well, so go back to when you were younger and when you started having those. I mean, who did you go to?
That's the problem. Who did we go to?
I'm asking, who did you go to when you?
I didn't go to nobody.
And I got it. I'm the same
I'm with you.
too.
Didn't go nobody.
And we probably much the same thing because I was just interested in sports until I left school. 16, 17, and 18, I still played. But it's like you found out yourself.
But when we were in the locker rooms, you knew 2/3 of the guys were talking junk, probably even more than that.
Exactly.
We were all just saying stuff. Oh yeah, you didn't know what you were talking about. You just didn't want to look stupid, you know.
And some of them would brag, saying how many girls they had,
right?
And then they turn around and ask, "Have you been with somebody?" Why you gotta ask me?
Right, exactly.
So, but the question is, so his question is a good question, but I think that's where we have to make ourselves available and let the young people know, hey, this is not strange. This is not crazy. This is not out of the world. Let's have a conversation. We have to build up a safe zone for young people to come who will not be questioned, or singles to come, because you could be 40 years old and have the same problem. Singles who can come and say, I'm going through this issue. I want to shack up with this dude. I want to shack up with this lady, but I know it's not right. Tell me why. Tell me why it's not right, and deal with that.
But also, to your point, when you develop that that mutual respect, they're able to come to you freely and talk, because you know you're not going to be judging them, but you're going to help them through whatever they're going through. And that's the thing right there. Have that open door of opportunity, and not being, well, you know, you shouldn't do that. You know, just have that actual conversation. Let them speak, and then that way you can give them the guidance as needed.
Yep. Amen.
You know I'm right.
Talia says,
right.
Every time you say that, I gotta say it. You know I'm right. The negative taboo about going to adults for advice on sex is why young people don't come to adults.
Agree.
Yes.
Agree.
But adults know, right? And should you know?
They should know. They should know.
So who do you go to?
Right.
But she's right? Because there is a negative taboo to it. You're going to be in trouble. Some parents are, you go to the wrong adult and they give you the, just pray. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
Exactly. Right.
I need more. I didn't come for just don't do it.
Bishop
Charlie. Oh, he's asking for prayer for us.
Help us in our wisdom, sir.
Brethren. We'll say the word brethren. Thank you, Bishop.
Brethren.
Thank you for tuning in tonight.
Yes. The home is a nice place for this to be taught. But how many of us received it at home? And we just talked about it.
Talked about it, right?
Didn't.
That's from our perspective, not from everyone else.
Woo!
Okay, that is coming from the bishop, right? But I understand his comment.
Yes.
Then it was allowed. Use it again, Bishop. I'll see you in Jessup.
Perry's back. Also, what resonates with young people is transparency. Yes, you just said that. Instead of being preached at, talk to about the vulnerability of falling to this flesh. They don't want to talk to someone who comes off as perfect.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think that's general discussion on anything. They just want to be talked to, not talk at.
Exactly.
So whether sex or whatever church, whatever sport or whatever, they want us to talk to them and let them have a word, and then we go from there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that the generation is a lot more sensitive to being judged than maybe we were.
Yes.
Right. And it's not a bad thing. It's just I just think that's the way it is. We weren't worried about being judged.
No.
Right.
To us was that person had to hit me. That person that literally had to push me down and take my money for me to be a bully. Him calling me a name or was not a bully. Right. Today, bullying is hurting somebody's feelings.
Exactly.
It's not a physical act. So I think that that has all come to being the sensitive. It's a more sensitive generation that we're dealing with.
You ain't taking my money though. I'm sorry.
You know what? It was weird. I was a small kid, but I was never bullied because I was funny. You have to be funny. If you're funny, you're not going to get bullied.
Yep.
Or fast. Funny or fast. What it do?
Collins.
That's from Kenya. So we got Kenya listening. All right.
Yes, I'm here listening.
All right.
Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you for the comeback, Bishop. Good topic. Yes, sir, Joseph. We need to be straightforward.
And let's pause right there for a second.
Transparent.
Thank you. That is so key, because when they come to you with the issue, don't try to shift it under the rug. Or I'll come back to you later. No, we need to talk about it now, because these hormones are off the chart. I'm feeling things I've never felt before. Help me deal with it. oh, well, no, I don't want you to come back to me later. I want to talk about it now. And you should be able to avail yourself when that situation arrives.
And we have a few young gentlemen at church, young guys at our church, who do ask us questions.
Absolutely.
About life, period. Questions about, should we wear this? Should we do this? What about this? And I think we do a good job in answering them straight up.
Yes.
Instead of trying to beat around the bush and say, now, what did God say? Did you read the book of Song of Solomon?
In other words,
you want to read that?
In other words, we listen and we don't judge.
Exactly. But tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Yeah. What's Ken saying?
Okay.
See, watch out for the musicians and pastors' kids. Red flag. See, you stereotyping right there, sir, because it's not just them. I'm sorry. So we'll get you on that one later.
Because that's the truth. I saw some of that growing up. Yeah, you saw again. Yeah. I'm not going to talk to it because I know a lot. A lot of the pastors and preachers of now were pastors and preachers' kids at one point. So again, it is not a group of people. It is an issue for all because, like I said, I had people who used me for the advantage. But hey, you know what? People have their opinions.
Yes, they do. When the Bible is understood by the youth, we will avoid all these problems.
Yes, my brother Collins. But the problem is they don't understand. First of all, some of us don't understand the Bible. We talked about this, how the gospel is misunderstood by the adults. We had a show on it. If we can't get it, how in the world is a young person who doesn't not even really interested in reading it going to understand it? They need somebody to break it down for them. That's my belief. I think that we need individuals to be more, as we've been saying, transparent, verbal, willing to listen, understand, and break down the need to be pure, the need not to go into those avenues that they can possibly run into.
Right. So Angela says conversations about
Angela's new, right?
Okay, welcome,
Angela G.
All right.
Let us know what church you from. If not, what state you from.
Right. So she says conversations about sex are good to have in church. Parents should teach and be open to answer questions.
Amen.
And that's what we're saying. Transparent. Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Keith Bland, Deacon Keith Bland. We should have discussions with our youth about sex so they know how to conduct themselves around and when they have those feelings earlier.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You talked about it, right? We said that not just sex, but how to conduct themselves.
There you go.
I think you talked about it. So that's definitely something that we need to bring up.
Well, you know, what about peer pressure though? Because
she just said it.
Who did?
He just put it up. We also have to teach them how to hold up under peer pressure.
All right, NR, you're reading my mind. Stop it.
No. Nadine, I'm sorry, I called your name out. And Mark, y'all know you're not reading nobody's mind.
I know. But we're on the same page.
Yes, okay.
And I didn't see that comment. I honestly didn't see it. But yeah, peer pressure is crucial because they tend to want to do things because they see their peers doing it. You know, my buddy's smoking, so I'm gonna smoke. My buddy's drinking, I'm gonna drink. My buddy's out here doing what he's doing. I want to do what he's doing as well. It's that whole thing of wanting to be part of acceptance. You want to be accepted in that whole little circle, and that can be dangerous.
So even in our times, in our times, we had the same peer pressure too.
Absolutely. But
the difference from then to now is that they have so much, what do you call it? So much information. The friends, I'll say it this way. Because more than the youth of today are more open-minded than what we were. I mean, and they will talk about it or brag about it or say what they did or whatever, and you should do it too. And kids don't get attacked by just one person. It's like a group of them. It's like 5 or 6 of them. And they're going to say, oh, look at them. They don't do this. They go to... And so the peer pressure just starts right there. So I understand the peer pressure is greater than what we had.
Yeah.
And I think this might be Pastor Collins' first time also from Kenya, so I'm going to give him a clap and say
thank you. We do that. We do that.
We appreciate you. Oh, sorry. Church is the best place to help young people know about sex. If they are not taught in the church, they will believe lies taught by the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's a definite yes. Listen to understand, don't listen to respond. That's a good point, right? Okay. Listen to understand, but not to respond. Meaning that let's not take our own feelings and just throw it at the young person. Really listen to what their question is, get a feeling for what they're asking, then respond with the compassionate heart, knowing the first thing that it was hard for them to even come to you to ask the question. So respond in that way.
Well, that's just something that needs to go back to the pastors and leaders of the church in order to rebuild those particular classes. So that's a good statement, but that's something that falls on leadership.
Rebuild. Well, it doesn't have to, because to be honest, if you think it's needed, bring it to the pastor. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm a pastor. If somebody might just said, the problem is this, is that they'll bring it to them, but they don't want to take on the class. No. Right? Bring it to them and then take the class on. Say, if pastor says, okay, start this class, be the one to do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Larry, we have to share the truth. We can't worry about feeling. The price for doing the wrong thing is too high. I don't. You have to worry. You have to worry about feelings, because, like we said, like Rupert said earlier, the same question could be asked us, and we might act different. But these times and these days, you have to watch what you say, because and how you say it, because feelings get hurt pretty quick, and sometimes you're not even saying it to make them mad or upset, but it depends on how they take it. So we have to work our way around on how we not trying to hurt their feelings, because once you hurt their feelings, they might not even come back to you at all.
Yeah, I think for me, the story that was told to me was the young person who committed suicide because they felt chastised. Right? We don't ever want to bring somebody to that. Right? Because there are some folks, it's like sports. There are some kids on the team that you can yell at and scream at, they won't care. They're going to get in, they're going to play. But then there's some you cannot have that same attitude to. You have to talk to them, be sensitive to them to get them to react. The days of, and I agree with you 100% on this, Simon, the days of just being real to everybody doesn't always work.
Right.
And we have to be careful. So that's why they're coming to you. You don't want to be too real with somebody who's coming to you, breaking out of a shell, because you're the only person they think they can talk to, then you're going to be too hard on them. Could break them.
Remember the football movie with Denzel Washington? Remember the Titans?
Yep.
And remember the wide receiver?
Yeah, the D-back, the cornerback.
Yeah, the D-back, and he got mad and walked off. And then the offensive coach, the defensive coach used him, and he felt much better. Yep. But then at the same time, when the defensive coach talked to him in a way that he didn't want to, he walked away. And that's what I'm talking about, the sensitive feeling, when the coaches were right. But anyway, we got a lot of questions. Lord help us, Jesus. Pastors, I believe, have to set the tone, framework, and opportunity for each discussion. Like what you were saying. Pastors, and what you're saying.
I think we do. But again, I think that if you feel it's important, bring it to the pastor's attention so something can be started, because there is so much on the pastor's plate, especially post-COVID, that if you feel it in the spirit, bring it.
Yes. And you did a double whammy on us, and you was going incognito here.
Right. I
was like, Angela G. and Gret. Now we know now. Thank you.
And we clapped her. And we clapped her.
I think it was a new person.
Angela G.
So Stan says, we also have to help to educate the adults who are having sexual problems in the church today. Well,
amen.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, because it's not only about young people or you singles, sometimes it's about grown folk. I've heard of grown folk married for 25, 30, 40 years. He sleeps in that room, she sleeps in that room. Right? And you heard, and of course we know that there are functional problems, and when you get older, certain things aren't the same. They don't work the same, they don't function the same. You have to have conversations, because the husband or the wife, they may feel a certain way if the other one doesn't get them excited the way they used to. And it's a thing that people go through, but we don't talk about it.
But when we talk about parents talking to their kids, now when we're talking about 2023, the parents of today, some of these parents are young. They're like 16, 17, 18 themselves. So what kind of discussion are they really having?
Right.
It is tough. You guys,
it's hard.
2 minutes. This went so quick. We had a whole bunch of comments.
We got 2 minutes to go.
Oh wow!
What great conversation. We could have went deeper. And again, I'm glad a lot of women chimed in. Oh wow, there's people still coming in. Hold on.
Yeah, I disagree. You can tell the truth in a gentle way. We got the truth and we survive.
We agree with that.
We agree with that.
We agree with that.
We talk about the feelings.
You said you can't worry about feelings.
Yes.
Right. So it's your approach.
Yes. I love this mature discussion. Pass my greetings, my mentor, Reverend. I love this. Okay. I didn't say a name. So yeah.
You done made his head go.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Out of time, guys.
We out of time.
Wow.
Hold on. One more.
Is it grown married folk issues, relationship issues different from young people's issues?
Not when it comes to sex. Sex is sex.
And Angela, we better get this one. Maybe some parents need to be taught how to talk with kids about sex.
True.
Yes.
Stay tuned next week, and we're going to be talking about, are you nervous about Christianity in this country?
Whoop.
Are you nervous about Christianity in this country? In light of the current events?
Hey, look, Edward says we need to have a part 2, man.
Hey, we may do that one as well. All right. Well, we all...
Wow.
We're good. And look, we're still within an hour. We stay tuned next week and hear us say,
You're welcome. Oh, we were kind of tight. All right, then. I do agree.
Hold on.